Hi, we're Pastor Dave and Dee Dee Thompson from Gateway Ministries in Golden, Colorado. We are actually Casper and Cheryl's pastors.
Isn't that wonderful? Casper and Cheryl with IAM Love Builders. They not only attend our church, but you know what else they do? They conduct marriage workshops, they conduct retreats, and they provide marriage counseling for our whole church family. Very powerful and life changing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to I Am Love Builders. You're with your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We want to give a great big shout out to all of our broadcast partners. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate all of you tuning in today. And we just want you to know that I Am Love Builders is a show that's dedicated to all things dealing with relationships and communication. At I Am Love Builders, we wanted your marriage and relationship to be healthy, thriving, and strong. We want you to become an MVP, the most valuable partner in your marriage or relationship. Here at I Am Love Builders, we wholeheartedly believe that if you are not having fun, you are not doing it right.
No doubt about it. Hey, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. And so Cheryl and I have a TV show called Winning with Love. We're in our second season of that.
Yay.
Yay. First season was with couples, and the second season we had couples and singles on this show. I was super excited about that. And you can check it out, a streaming service on Zondra TV Network, the Zondra TV Network. And you can catch it on Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire, and all those. We also have a lot of streaming services we provide through Zondra TV. So TV advertising, movie production, even podcast promotion, you name it. If it comes to a streaming service, we can help them with that. We also have a micro network. So if someone has a current podcast that's sitting in YouTube or sitting wherever and it's not getting a lot of views, we can help them get more exposure for that podcast.
That's right.
So they don't have to re-record it. We can just upload it onto our micro network and then hopefully get them some more exposure for it. So they can reach out about that. We also have Go Shop America, which is it's kind of like a QVC.
It's a little mini QVC
Yeah.
HSN,
Mhm.
and it's geared toward more people who don't have 10,000 or 10 million of something to sell.
Right.
So maybe you have a book that
Mhm.
you want to sell, and maybe you only have 100 copies. Or maybe you have another product, service, or something else that you have created. This is a place for you.
Absolutely. And we have a book series out called Mastering Adam and Eve. It's available on Amazon. So on Amazon, you have to order the books separately, but through our website and through our MVP Love Hub, you can get the books as a set and at a discount. So definitely want to check that out. We also have a new book project coming up, the Marriage Constitution. Super excited about this. It's going to be available for pre-sale the 1st of June, and it's going to be on the on Amazon basically the 4th of July. But if you're going to be joining us in Philly,
Yay!
so we're going to be at an event happening in Philly at the Guinness Book World Record attempt, the most authors signing a book simultaneously. We're going to have copies of the book there so they can get some free copies of the book. Super jazzed about that. We'll talk more about that. We also have an MVP Love Hub community. This is right now, the access is still free, but we've been building this out for about 90 days and we've got it pretty built out. As you can see, all those little tabs are different areas within the Love Hub. So now we're kind of closing the doors on the free part. So if you want to get in free, you still can. You can go to iamlovebuilders.net and click on join the community, and you can get in there for free. But first of the month, that's going to be closing. That the free portion is going to be closing down. Right. We're still going to have a lot of free content on our Facebook group but the Love Hub itself is going to be for paid members only. All right. And our sponsors for this episode are Miracle Pay POS systems. These guys have really perfected um, the point of sale for crypto. So you can take a crypto card or on your phone, and you can go to a store that has the terminal in it, and you can pay for your product or service using crypto.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
It
So
is.
right now they're mainly overseas, but they're going to be coming here to America. That's why we're promoting it so heavily now, because it's just getting launched here in America. So we're super excited about that as well. All right, we've got a lot of things going on, and I meant to put the new slides in there, but
You
I
forgot.
forgot. Well, I
Ran
didn't
out of
forget.
time.
Ran out of time is what happened. Time is one of those things you don't. Yeah. Anyway, so we got a lot going on, and one of them is the event happening in Philly. We want to talk about that, the Guinness Book World Record event attempt, and I do have a slide for that. I believe it's this one. So it's going to be a world record attempt happening in Philly on the 30th of May. And we're going to be there a day or two early because there's some VIP stuff happening. So we want to make sure we're there for those events.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's going to be fun. A lot of our CLA members, which is CLA, yeah, Leaders Academy, yeah. Raquel could tell us about that, the CLA. But anyway, a lot of the CLA members are going to be there at that event. So we're excited to be able to meet them for the first time at that event. So we have Emilio and Jose and Jim Hetherington and a bunch of other folks. And I think our guest may be going there as well. We'll see. We'll check in on her. See if she's going to be there. But anyway, a lot of stuff going on. Let's see what else. There was something else. Oh, our new Love Talk, live Love Talk.
Yes.
It's going to be happening the first of the month. We're going to do a live Love Talk. More information on that next week when I get the slide prepared properly. But we're doing a live Love Talk. We've got couples joining us, at least 4 or 5 couples joining us every week to do a live Love Talk. So we're excited to have them with us, and we're going to be streaming that into some of our platforms coming up here in first of the month. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to introduce you to our awesome guest. She's been a super, super great networking person for me. When I first joined CLA, she was right on it, helping me get connected with folks. So we're going to be excited to bring her on to the show. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Your love deserves the best. You deserve MVP Premier. Transform your relationship with our exclusive 5-day immersive experience for only 8 couples a year. Luxury travel, stunning resorts, gourmet dining, and a lifetime of support await you. Reimagine your relationship. Apply now at mvppremier.com.
All right, we're back with the I Am Love Builder show. Casper and Cheryl here, and we have a very special MVP guest in studio with us, Raquel Soto. And I had a chance to meet with her a couple of times online. She's been very helpful to me getting acclimated to the CLA world, and CLA stands for Connected Leaders Academy. Right?
You got it.
Okay. All right, I just had a senior moment there. Anyway, so Raquel, introduce yourself to our audience and stuff. This is the first time they're seeing you.
Yes. Hi, everyone. If you're new to me, my name is Raquel. I'm your GPS for Success, and I specialize in being a media and PR producer. I have a whole voice ecosystem to get you seen. And my favorite line is, I can make you immortal in 5 days or less. That's normally how people come to me through that particular vehicle.
I love it. I love it. So this is a relationship show, so they kind of want to get to know you a lot better. So tell us about where you grew up and
tell us your story.
Tell us your story.
We don't have that kind of time. So the first part, I will preface it with this for those who are thinking that maybe your dreams won't come true. There were or things that maybe God had whispered to you when you were very young. I'm 52 right now, and the things that God had put in my heart that were going to happen are just now unfolding 30 years later.
Amen.
And so
Amen.
in my late teens, early 20s is when I met my first husband. And I always call him first husband because he passed away in 2020.
Uh-huh.
But I know, yeah, I know at some point I'll get married again. And so I call him first husband. And
Mhm.
so when I met first husband, we were ended up being best friends, and we got to be best friends through actually the church we were going to. I ended up singing on the worship team. He was playing the guitar. He had
Mm.
more. I always tell people he had more talent in his little pinky than anybody else I've ever met in my whole life.
Mhm.
He
Mhm.
had this Pied Piper way of playing where he would have a few notes and people would just like literally, if we were outside and he was playing, people can hear him and they would come and
Mhm.
sit at his feet and just like stare
Wow.
at him. He
Wow.
was an amazing fine artist where it was funny because sometimes people were like they wanted to come over, but they wanted to come over to see the paintings, not to
Mhm.
visit with us. So they would come in and they would just look at the paintings and they're like, oh, we just kind of wanted to look at the paintings. Like, welcome to our house to museum, I guess. Let us know if you need a beverage. But he had a way of creating art that just made people pause and think
Wow.
and really just slow down and start to pick up the different messages that he was putting in the artwork. And we have three kids together. My oldest
Oh,
is 25,
okay.
Angela, and then the boys are Alexander and Alan, and they're 22 and 17. So
All
Wow.
right.
right now, at the moment, single mom of my three kids.
Yeah.
And there were things that were prophesied over us and things that in the band we ended up creating a band because that came about because I can hear music. I'm not a typical musician. I
Mm-hmm.
hear the music and I can compose in my head and I get downloads. So
Wow.
the
Mm-hmm.
guys wanted to create a band outside of the church, but they wanted to
Mhm.
make it like empowering music, eclectic. They were all like had different backgrounds.
Sure.
Hector, my first husband, wonderful blues musician, and so I had a download for a song and I wrote it and I came to him and said maybe you guys can use it, and he said he was holding the paper. You can feel electricity. He told me that later.
Wow.
And I saw his hand shaking, but I was just like, maybe he had too much coffee, like 20, what did I know? So his hands were shaking. And he's like, why don't you come and sing it? I'm like, oh, I can't sing. But even though that's not true, I have a like 3.5 octave range. So I was like, he said, well, come and sing it so we know what it sounds like. And I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
So then that night I came and he said, sing it so we can see if we can use it. So I started singing it and the guys were looking at each other and they were looking for a voice that can carry different kinds of genres because they liked
Mm.
rockabilly, rock, blues,
Mm-hmm.
gospel, soul, all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. And so I was singing all these songs that they would give me and they're like, girl. So I ended up being a singer in the band. And that's how Hector and I really got to know each other. And we were best friends. And then we never dated. So we got engaged and
Wow.
then we dated while we were for that year in between the engagement and the wedding. And then, life happened. We had these prophecies, and I was like, maybe it's not meant to be. And the band ended up disbanding. People had kids, moved away. But it would always come up, like the thing about music and me doing certain
Mm-hmm.
things. I
Mhm.
was able to do those things to various companies that I worked for, just like as a side project or something like a special thing.
Mhm.
Then really all the music started to come back. It was like 30 years worth of music that I didn't write started to flood through. Um, not last December, but the December before last. And I was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my, it's like downloads. And God's like, produce them. And I'm like, you've got mail Jesus because you know how much it is for me to go and create all these things. And the way I would write the music before was I would get like a download and I would write it and I would tell the musicians like this is what it sounds like. And they were so gifted that they were able to pull it out of me and
Mm-hmm.
construct the things that were in my
Yeah.
head.
Mm-hmm.
And then God's like, well, no, use AI. Do they
Mm.
go compose with AI? And I was like, oh, so I started looking things up and learned it really fast. I tend to be very fast learner and implementer, learn and implement. And then I took it to, it was literally, I had between then, which was the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, and now it's been over like 150 songs.
Oh, wow.
It was so much that's happened since last year in April. It's not even a full year yet of the things that have been happening. Actually, May, I think about it. From May of last year, it was a TV show. The TV show opened the door to do music for other people. That opened the door for a record label. That opened the door for publishing other people's stories and anthologies. That opened the door to this year launching a Christian radio station, and opened the door to a magazine. So what I didn't realize was that God was actually creating this complete ecosystem, but it just really came from things that he would inspire me. And the way anybody can get me to do things, including God, it's like, he's like, wouldn't it be fun if, and I was like, that does sound like fun. Let's do it. And I didn't know really what he was up to. And even until recently, I was like plugging things into like Chad and Claude, and people were telling me that they're like, you don't know what you've built. And I didn't recognize what God was building because I was just being obedient. I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. This is what you want me to do. Okay, let's do it. And he would give me the ideas and I would just implement them. But then people were telling me who were in professional spaces, and like, do you know what you've built? And I'm like, no, because I'm just doing the pieces and having fun creating the pieces and really amplifying other people's voices. And they're like, no, you've built a voice ecosystem. And I'm like, I did. And then I plugged that stuff into like Chad and Claude. And they were telling me the same thing, like, do you know what you've built? And I was like, why don't you tell me? It's like, you don't understand what you've actually built here. And I was like, when the machines are telling you, you're not aware of what's happening. It's kind of funny. They caught up with heaven. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there with chat and stuff. He said, wow, this is actually pretty unique, Casper. I'm like, thanks.
Right. Well, it's funny because they're like, oh, Chad is always going to be like, be your cheerleader. But I also put it in Claude because Claude tends to be more technical and like a different kind of outcome. So I wasn't using Claude for a while, but then I just plugged it in just to see what it would say. And it was just like, do you understand what's happening here? And I was just like, no, explain it to me. So I was like, wow, it just really gave me a better appreciation for what God has been doing the whole time.
Yeah. We need to take a quick break, but Steve is saying that you helped produce all his videos and song Steve Moore.
Yes, I love him. Yeah, he's amazing.
And Emilio is watching as well. He's really appreciative of all the work you've been doing with us. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to ask you some more probing questions about your life. You are watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Let's rewind thousands of years to a time before money existed. How did people pay? A sack of wheat? Some heavy metal? Or maybe a live chicken? Trying to fit a chicken in your wallet? Not ideal. Luckily, financial revolutions followed one another, bringing us to the present day. And today, a new revolution begins. Miracle Pay. So, what is Miracle Pay? It's your innovative, secure, and transparent way to accept payments in any cryptocurrency. Why blockchain? Because it's decentralized. No more bank bureaucracy, no more endless paperwork. And security? It's not controlled by a few guys in a suit. It's secured by hundreds of millions of people across thousands of nodes worldwide. With Miracle Pay, you can get paid anywhere. Whether you're selling ice cream on a glacier in Alaska or selling hot tea in the middle of the Sinai Desert. We might question your business model, but never your payment system. 24/7 security, 99.9% uptime, and support for over 100 wallets. Miracle Pay is your trusted blockchain partner. Join Miracle Pay today. Integrate the future of payments into your business right now.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder show. Casper and Cheryl, we have our special MVP guest in studio with us. And so Raquel, your first marriage ended with the death of your husband, and you're now raising 3 children who are actually grown now. Who's the youngest child? Is how old?
17.
17. Yeah, he or she thinks she's grown, even if they're not grown.
He's actually an old soul. I feel like it's an old soul. He's like the wisest of the 4 of us.
Yeah, I can relate to that. So what would you say your what am I trying to say here? Like are you I don't want to ask are you dating, but you're a busy lady.
Mm-hmm.
And you're pretty well, right? So do you have guys interested in you or what's going on?
Oh yeah, my boyfriend wouldn't like that. But I am dating someone, seriously.
Okay.
We've been together for a while. And
Okay.
I call his children my bonus children, so he's got, it's funny because how God works everything out. His youngest is the same age as my youngest. They're actually a few days apart. They have the almost the exact same character, but the personalities are completely different.
Hmm.
And then my son Alexander is his daughter Alexandra,
Oh,
and
wow.
they're
Oh, boy.
a few weeks apart. And then my daughter Angela has the same character as his daughter Alexandra. So when I met them, I was just like, oh my gosh, they're like carbon copies of my kids with different personalities.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, that is cool.
We both have the same. We both have one girl who's the oldest with the 2 boys. We're both from Chicago and the same similar area. So it's just like funny that we never like ran into each other because we were like in similar places a lot of times. And we found out later. But it was very easy to fall in love with his children because they were just like mine.
Yeah.
But just like very different because my children are like, I say we're like hippies at the house, we're like artists and hippies, and my daughter is a writer and she helps me with the business, and my sons are, they design games and they're artists too.
Nice.
And so, we're like, and then his kids are all like jocks.
That's awesome. I know Kathy has Kathy DeMay. She says Raquel's the
I
most
love her.
amazing coach and friend. Yeah.
I've known her for years. I had the privilege of, she's a teacher. I was able to do it through Zoom and do a business class for her class.
Oh, nice. For a class. Yeah. What age were the students? Age range kind of?
High school. So they were like,
yeah.
They were like, I think around between 16 and 17.
Very good. Very good.
So Raquel, tell us, as a busy woman with 3 children, how do we balance? Because we women can get very focused on our goals and what we want to achieve. How do we focus that or balance that in a way where we can still have well-rounded, loving, peaceful relationships in Christ, no doubt?
Yes. And I think part of it is understanding that there's no such thing as balance. It's just you're taking it day by day. And that you have to be purposeful. When my husband died, one of the things that I started to do with my children, I got the idea from God, is like do game night with them. But I was going into their world. So it was the games that they were already playing. Right. And they're like, I don't know if you want to play these games. Well, I'm like, no, let's do what you're doing, Yeah. But it's really provided when God called me out of corporate and to work full time as an entrepreneur. I thought it was to do entrepreneurship. But what he was actually doing was restoring things. I wasn't able to be the kind of mom I wanted to be when I was in corporate because I was a breadwinner and I was, I was working an international job. So we're based in Chicago, but when we're falling asleep or anybody else is falling asleep, Asia's waking up, so it was always like kind of on call.
Right.
And so I would work 60 or 70 hours. Also, there was a lot of things going on. I had tried to take my own life 4 different times. And so lost a lot of my hair. A lot of things were happening in my body and my mind. And I wasn't able to be there for my kids the way I wanted to because I was working so much. And then when I was with them, I was not present because I was just having to check my cell phone and work because other people were working. And so that was the gift that I thought that God was, he wooed me with what seemed like entrepreneurship. But what he was really doing was restoring the different parts of my life that needed restoring. My mental health, my physical health, the things that matter, the relationship with my children. And so we started to do, game night. And that's something that we purposely do together so that I can be present. My boyfriend, the work that he has, he's out of town a lot. And so when he's in town, we try, we work our schedules out. I know ahead of time. So that way we can create that time between us and also time with his kids, because his boys are high-level soccer players. So then I go and support them, so that's a lot of fun. And that's how we ended up bonding, because I went into their world. So a lot of things, it's like going into somebody else's world, almost like a missionary, being present and speak. And I wasn't always really good at that. Well, that's one of the things sometimes it's like, no, I need to purposely like put my cell phone in another room, or put do not disturb on, or put I can't hear any notifications, because it's just really easy to get pulled. And if we don't purposely create the boundaries around where we're at, then I love what I do. It's very easy for me to like literally like sit down and not get up for like 10 hours, because I'm just in the zone and I flow. And being a hyper creative and an artist, and also using the left side of my brain, I was just like, oh. So my kids are checking like, when was the last time you ate? And I'm like, oh God, did I forget to eat? So, I have to purposely do things to create the time. And when I create the time, to honor the time and just be like, you know what? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a judge. Nobody's going to die. I have my hours and I'm going to work. And then even right now, because my sleeping patterns were kind of interrupted with all the things I was doing, this is like, no, I shut my brain off. I stop working at a certain time so my body can start winding down, because I need to honor my body too, right? It's the temple of the Holy Spirit. And so having is not only my relationship with people, but my relationship with God. It's like, well, I need to take care of myself better, because he lives here. Of course, he wants me to live long and strong. He's hanging out, so.
Yeah. We have to take a quick break. You're watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Winning with Love, episode 5, season 6, number 2.
All right, we were back with the I Am Love Builder Show, Casper and Cheryl. We have a special MVP guest in the studio with us. So Raquel, what would you say kind of helped? How did you make that? What pulled you out from that position, or not position, but that time frame where you wanted to end it? How did you move past that to where you are now?
It was actually how I ended up coaching. I in the beginning. After the 4th time I was in the middle of taking my life, I ain't gonna stop me, because I'm not always the sharpest tool in the shed. That's when I asked the question. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. And I promise you that I will not take my own life. But you're gonna have to show me why did I come to this point? How did, what's actually going on in my body and in my mind that I think is a good idea. And I said,
Mhm.
and God took me to some light reading, quantum physics, and then
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
neuroscience and emotional regulation. And so it was like I studied quantum physics and I started to see like, oh, when the scientists were saying this, it was like, oh, well, that's already in scripture. And I was
Right.
able to
Right.
connect those two things. I was like, oh, all
Mhm.
these things are already in scripture. Oh, that's why God said. And then I just started studying neuroscience and it was the same thing. I was like, oh, that's why God said, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm. Mhm.
so, even though we kind of know these things, it's almost like we know them superficially or like top of
Mm.
mind. It might come to our conscious, but it's not really a belief system.
Mhm.
And that's really what opened the door for me to, as I was healing myself, is like finding those connections. And I'm one of those like for me to remember things to be sticky. It's like I learn and I teach. I learn and I teach as I'm learning
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
implementing. And so that's really what
Mhm.
helped to turn things around for me because I started to see a rapid turnaround. And because it's one of the things, right, in the parable of the sower, we see like in the first stage, I call it the 4 stages of manifestation. The first stage where
Yeah.
things are taken from you is the lack of understanding. And that's where I was finding where things were being stolen from me, including my psyche and my relationships, was because of a lack of understanding what was going on and really
Mhm.
understanding why God said what he said. And so those things opened up the door for me to understand. And then I started to go to second phase, right? Starting to get some, like quick wins. The guy is like,
Mhm.
oh, these
Mhm.
quick wins. But it's one of those things that if you're not rooting it, right? There's no root when the heat comes, because it always comes,
Mhm.
then it will wither. And not understanding
Right.
those things where I would catch something and something great would happen, but then it's like the reason it fell apart was because I wasn't giving it enough time to root in and become a lifestyle change, a belief system
Right.
change at the heart
Right.
level, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
then the third level is like, right, when there's a couple things in there, but one of the things God showed me was the cares of this world, right? And
Mhm.
the cares of this world doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. We're adulting, we're taking care of things, we're responsible for things, but that also, the busyness can choke out what God is trying
Mhm.
to do and wants to
Mhm.
do and has already planned for you to have an experience. But those things can choke it out before you
Mhm.
get to 30, 60, and 100-fold. And so when God was showing me those things and how they're all interconnected, I was like, oh, that's why.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm not 100% in it. There's still things like, he's so good. He knows how to bring things to your awareness and be like, now we're going to work on this. And then peel it off layer by layer. So that
Right.
way it has
Right.
no hold. Sometimes it happens fast, like a deliverance thing is
Yeah.
just boom. But most
Yeah. Yeah.
times there's interconnectedness with other things. So he's peeling
Yes.
off one layer at a time.
Yes. You have to go through the process. And I know a lot of
Mhm.
times we don't like process. We
Mhm.
want to skip over it and get to the end result, but that's
Okay,
not
we get
how it
to the good
works.
part.
I like one of the things that you alluded to is that in your journey, you came to the realization that you needed to take care of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You needed to practice and put in place some self care. And I believe a lot of, well, men as well, but women, professional women with husbands and corporate American jobs and children and the children's sports and activities, we by nature, I believe women, we not even thinking about it, it's just somewhere in our subconscious, we just put self-care to the back burner uh,
Mhm.
until we get to the edge and or we explode. Then it's like, "Oh, I need to do something." But then it's making that transition of realizing, A, like you said, I am the temple of the Holy Spirit. So I need to have a good place for the Holy Spirit to dwell. And I think we don't think of it that way as people, and definitely not as women. We tend to we know it. Would you
Yes. Yes, right. Because it's people misquote it. They're like, "Oh, the truth will set you free." That's not what it says. It's just
mhm,
knowing the truth would set you
Yeah.
free,
Knowing the
and it's
truth. Yeah.
knowing it in that intimacy, like the marriage, right? When you have that
right.
intimate knowledge, that's what sets us free. And we don't when we don't get to the intimate knowledge when we know that we know, um,
Mhm.
it's not going to help us.
Yeah.
That's right.
One of the things that we do with couples in our coaching is we help them work on those little things like you were talking about, kind of stripping them away so that you can focus on the main thing,
Mhm.
right? But if you have so many of these little distractions going on, you never get anything really solved, and it just kind of keeps piling up on each other.
Right.
So,
You have to learn to prioritize,
yeah,
and things that are important to us, we will prioritize them.
yeah,
But sometimes we have to just like take a step back and an overlook of where we are and start getting our priorities in order. I think we're going to transition over to your website now, and you can tell us all about all the wonderful, fantastic, amazing things that Raquel is into
yes, after the break.
after the break. It's almost a break.
So you are watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Winning with Love. We're your hosts, Casper and Cheryl Stockham, and we are so glad that you've joined us today.
I'm going to let her talk. She's going to talk about twice as much as I am. So get all your words out now.
I see you and you see me. Oh, sparks are flying.
It all depends on how we give our body what it needs to do what it needs to do.
Thank you. That's the crux of my book.
Well, no, they leave, or either they like, I'm finna break her.
Right.
Oh, you gonna break me now? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my car at a grocery store and was hit with a stray bullet. Like I said, luckily the police were there, and I went through a few, literally what they call life-saving surgery.
All right, we are back with the I Am Love Builder Show, Casper and Cheryl, and we are going to pull up Raquel's website as soon as I find it. I'm supposed to try to have this done during the break.
So Raquel, while he's doing that, why don't you tell us, how did you make it? How did you transition to corporate America to being this fantastic, multiplicated entrepreneur that you are?
It was, I remember being in prayer meditation in 2019, and it was like toward the end of March, beginning of April. And God was like, I want you to leave. You have 90 days. Yeah. And I was like, what? Because I was at a job that, I didn't leave because a lot of people leave because like, I don't like this job. I just don't want to do this anymore. I hate the environment. And that's actually where I was getting my validation. That's where I was getting my accolades. That's where I was feeling good because the work I did was respected and it was honored. And so I enjoyed the work. And God's like, you romanticize it because it costs you. Just, like we do romanticize things because that was my drug. And so it was like justifying, all the hours and everything. Because I'm taking care of my family. I'm not taking care of them. What the children want is our presence more than anything.
Right.
That's right.
And during that time, he was just like, I want you to leave. And I said, okay. I go, well, you've got mail, Jesus, because I need this amount of money to make sure that I'm hearing you right by the end of 90 days. And I didn't think anything of it. He was just like, okay. And then the first 6 weeks of my side business, it was like doing the same. But the last 6 weeks, it was just, I had thousands of dollars come in. And at the end of it, it was more than I asked for. Because I was like, I was like, hold my beer. And all these open doors and all this money flooded in. And at the end of 90 days, he's like, and I was like, well, you did your part. I guess I had to do mine. So I ended up my resignation, but I had my hands in a lot of cookie jars, around the world. So I gave him 2 months and to unwind. And then at the end of that, they contracted me out, and I was still working there. I was coming in a few times, like, oh, you retired from here. I had a retirement crown and everything. Like, I'm retiring. And they're like, you retired. Why are you coming in like 2-3 times a week? I'm like, oh, they're contracting me for things. And then in October of that year, God's like, I said, leave.
Right.
I don't want you working for them anymore. You're working for me. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't help you anymore. So I had to cut them off. And it was so funny because, all that stuff came in, and I was with a business partner. And then soon after that, then it's like our partnership, it was just very weird. There was a partnership was dissolved. She did this whole campaign against me online. I ended up losing almost all my business, and then the fungalitis hit in 2020. So I'm like, did I get Jesus right? Because this is not good. This is not good. And then that May of that year, my husband ended up passing. And so it was a lot, where it was not an easy journey at all, but I just knew, like, I can just feel it. Like, I knew I was not supposed to go back to any kind of corporate setting or work for anybody. Like, I'm working for him, and he will work everything out. And so that's been the journey for the last 6 years.
Yeah. And now we're here at Breakthrough Radio.
Yes, that was I didn't realize. I try to just follow directions. I'm not like, I eventually do what he says, but sometimes there was a period where I hated to fast and like go and talk to him, because then I come out with the project. I'm like, don't you have any other kids? Like, why am I always getting all these projects? And last year I kept on hearing like radio, and I just thought like maybe I'll be on a radio station or have a radio show, but it was just like radio. And I was like, okay. But then I wasn't feeling too good in January, and he slipped it in. It was just like, I want you to do a radio station, and you're gonna have 3 different pillars on it, and it's gonna be your hub, and you'll understand more later. But I want you to launch it for the end of the month. And I was like, I wasn't feeling well. This time I didn't fuss with him. I was just like, okay, fine. And then the next day when I was feeling better, I was like, wait a minute, what did I agree to? It's just like, to it, you gave me your word. So I was like, fine. So I didn't want to do anything. I was hemming and hawing for the first 2 weeks when I was getting everything together. And then once I started to do this, I really love it. And now I understand like all the things that have been created. This is really going to be the hub, because initially I still like that the framework he gave me is words matter because they become matter. Okay. And so everything around sound and creation around sound, whether it's the radio or music or the other things I'm doing and audiobooks. And so what we did is like 3 times a day we have we go through the New Testament. So we just finished Revelation. We started back on Matthew this week. And so it's 5 chapters a day. And so you have the initial one at 7 a.m. Central. And then we replay it 2 more times because people have different, times when they can check in. And it's just been amazing where right now, and it's still holding, where our active listeners are on between 25 and 28 minutes a day, which is big, because in a 7-second world, I haven't been really advertising or doing ads or anything like that. I just been mentioning a little bit, and it's growing. I have a whole show block on Sundays. I have a pastor who came on who's doing Audacious Faith, Jay, and then I also have some other people who are coming on as well. And so it's a really great, it's a Christian radio station. And so everything has to come to me, because I need to make sure that no one's saying anything crazy
sure. Right.
Outside of that framework. And God was really specific of like, so there's empowering music. And it was the 2 scriptures he gave me. It's Joshua 1:8 and Romans 12:2. So, meditating on the word day and night so we can find success, and renewing our mind. So it's both things. Okay, now make it easy for you. We're seeing research that's showing that, if you read the Bible once a week, it doesn't do anything. Twice a week, it doesn't do anything. 3 times a week, it helps a little bit. But when you read it 4 times a week, then you start to see significant changes, in the positive in every area of your life, especially the places where you're stressing out. And so I'm like, I make it easy, because faith comes by hearing, not reading. So
Right.
even in the back end, you know, hearing the word, I'm getting like amazing testimonials of people who are listening to it at work and how God is using that to speak to them, to heal them, releasing them from like 30 years of emotional pain, and
Wow.
finally having these conversations, and they're just in one conversation with God, all that pain gone. And so I was just like, okay, I'm like crying when I get these. And I'm like, okay, if it's just for that person or that person, I'm just going to keep on doing it. You know? Like,
Amen. Amen.
All right, we're gonna have
Yeah.
to take our last break. I told you it was gonna go fast. You are watching I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Which is my camera?
Right there, all the way down.
Oh, okay, I can talk to him. After all, he's my camera. I can talk to him. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. We are here with our wonderful guests.
God has been very graceful. Going back to what you stated, it's that work factor.
So we weren't arguing with one another, but maybe we needed to be. Right. Maybe we needed to be getting uncomfortable.
I'd only been saved 11 months. He's been saved since he was 19.
But at the end of the day, I believe in marriage, and I think that it's really important.
You have been watching Winning with Love with Casper and Cheryl Stockham. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the I Am Love Builder Show with Casper and Cheryl. We have our special MVP guest in studio with us, Raquel Soto. So this is our last segment. So tell us anything about this website, or share things on the website you want us to make sure we know about, or we plug into, or and also how can they reach you?
Well, you can stalk me everywhere through yourgpsforsuccess.net. All my socials are on there, so that's the easiest way to connect with me. The main thing right now is continuing to grow Breakthrough Radio. So if you're looking for a place that there's a lot of empowering music, there's a lot of original music on there, as well as even secular music, but it has to go through the eyes of like, does it match? You know what Christian principles are. And so if you're looking for a place to really be empowered 24/7, that's the spot that you start with. I have a task execution OS that I built called Task Animal. And so Task Animal has like 12 episodes as well through I have a TV show called One Breakthrough Now, and that's being fed into Task Animal as well. So it's not just about productivity, but it does all the things. Like all my frameworks about like neuroscience, biblical principles, emotional regulations are actually built into Task Animal. So it's like having me in your pocket 24/7. And you're like, well, I don't want to buy anything. I got you covered. You can watch the episodes, and they're the first 9 that we've recorded already are on there, and you can go through the episodes. But this is if you want to go deeper, then you would go ahead and get Task Animal, which I love because it's being updated as the shows are being released on the Prospera TV network.
And the tasks, as in what type of tasks? What are people trying to get help with?
So it's kind of like touching into what Cheryl was saying earlier about balance, because there's no such thing as balance. But when you're looking at what you want to accomplish and the goals that you have, and how do you manage that, sometimes we get into decision fatigue, which is a very real thing. And it's like, which is the first thing I do. And so you're feeding even like your emotions in it and talking to it like you were talking to me, because my frameworks are in there. So it's like, okay, these are the things, and then we're going to put you into flow. So it puts you into flow by creating the micro tasks, so that way you can start going into momentum, and then you'll see like within an hour you get more done than you would have done all day.
Okay.
Without overwhelm, right? Because so many people are in overwhelm. And then I talk about the signature sound, which is I love to do that. It's when I create. That's how you become immortal in 5 days or less. You have a signature sound piece. And I have the ability of translating almost like you can think about it like a high level ghostwriting. I'm able to connect with your mission, with the love for your people, the love for what you're doing. I've actually written some love songs for husbands to give to their wives too. I do that as well. But it's great because, people use it for their TEDx or for like the network station or for their books, and so all these different ways that you can utilize your own sound. And it's something with music, right? When we're gone, people are still listening to it. So it's a really great way for you to create legacy now, for you to start.
Okay.
And it's a really wonderful way to shrink the know, like, and trust factor. I have clients who use the songs that I create for them for like their anthologies or their events, and they actually send them to people, and the song will close them because it's really them. I use their language, their tonality, their love for what their people, what they're doing into the sound piece. And so that's probably my favorite thing to do as well. And then if it fits, I also put it on the radio station for them.
Nice. And then you have events.
Yes. So the next event is actually this Friday. It's called The Rise. And so The Rise is ruling and reigning in life and business, and it's for Kingdom women. And so I have amazing speakers who are going to be in this event. I'm really grateful to have them. And so it's going to be not all day, from like 10 to 3 o'clock Central Time, because we're not going to keep you captured all day. But everybody's going to be like mini workshops, one after the other. So it'll be fast paced, but it's going to be a lot of fun and really impactful. It's really around helping women, step into what God has really called them to do and getting them ready for the second quarter.
Oh, wow. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's $7 to attend.
This is awesome, Raquel.
Danielle is going to be there.
Yes. Yeah, almost like Donna Dashin. She's also from the CLA. Cassell I met through Nikki from the CLA. Tish McDaniel, I actually ended up meeting her through Emilio. She calls me unicorn. Yeah, I'm really grateful to be able to have these amazing women that I've met and who are really following after what God has put in their heart. And so they're going to be sharing those, not only the stories to inspire you, but also like some practical, this is what you can do to move into the next step.
Awesome.
Oh, and then the proceeds from here are going to part of the proceeds are going to be going to Gazelle. Her son is currently on a cancer journey, and we say what God says, right? He's healed. And so she's noticed like she's been in the hospitals and supporting the families. And so she's doing a walk. And so some of the proceeds from the ticket sales are actually going to her for the walk. We're donating so that way we can hit the target.
Nice.
All right. Very good.
Very good. All right. And oops.
That's the wrong one.
Wrong set. See if I can go back. Oh, we're the wrong way. Maybe not. Nope, I closed it. Sorry about that. I think that was most of the website though, right?
Yes, because I haven't put everything else on there. I have a magazine coming out called The Breakers. And so the breakers are really people who are, I guess in our terminology, would be more people that have the apostolistic kind of call in their life, right? Where we're the trailblazers, we're the pathfinders, we're creating the trails for other people to follow. And so it's really a celebration of them as an external credibility piece. And so it's like a beautiful magazine with an article, and they'll get like 10 magazines and things like that. And so if you think if there's something of interest to you, then make sure to reach out to me.
Yeah, well, I totally suggest they do that. I know you've been a blessing for me joining CLA. You're one of the first folks that help me navigate through, because there's so many different people to connect with and so much stuff going on. And you were instrumental in helping me get started. So I appreciate you. Folks, if you want to plug into what she's doing, you want to go to yourgpssuccess.net. What an awesome site and an awesome individual for sure. Hey, we have a MVP Love Hub that we want folks to join. And in fact, if you want to get in there for free, I suggest you do it today because the free portion is closing down. We have built out the Love Hub to about 90+%. And now it's time to close the free door, but you can still get in for free until the end of the month. So I suggest you do that. And our goal is for you to become an MVP, the most valuable partner in your relationship.
That's right.
Because we know when you become an MVP, then and your partner is an MVP, you guys come together. Now you got something really powerful, right? And you can go to iamlovebuilders.net to get more information, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Bye for now.
Thank you, Raquel.
Bye-bye.
Glad to have you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Don't say anything.